In the age of AI, critical thinking is under threat, but only if you let it. With AI capable of generating research reports and being really good at providing a confident answer, using AI is not a bad thing at all. In fact, I use it daily. But the key piece that I think is really important for us as humans to continue to work on is the element of critical thinking so that we can know when to trust the AI and take action on the content that the AI is providing us with, and when to let it go or when to see that it may not be relevant in the current context. Because if the AI uses the wrong source, that could lead to some serious mistakes in business, in your life. Actually, I want to focus this around business. AI is really good, like I said before, AI is really good at putting together ideas and presenting them confidently. And it could be easy to take that as fact or as the ideal or the best answer. But it really just takes one wrong source for AI to confidently tell you to do something that is in fact wrong, or is in fact maybe not the ideal scenario given the context. So how does prompting fit into all this? In my opinion, elaborate prompts, like long paragraph prompts, were very popular on LinkedIn and even on Twitter or X. And I think they still are popular as content, but I doubt their effectiveness and their ability to deliver the right answer and make it actionable. I think it's really good at developing a confident answer that the AI then pitches back to you. But when it comes time to take action, I think that prompts that are broken up are a little better. And here's why. You can tell the AI to act like a certain professional and to engage in a certain way, to look for these things, provide this type of input. Now that's context setting. Context setting is important. And in fact, the more context you have, up to a certain point, of course, the better it is. Kind of like training an intern or training a new employee. You'd provide a lot of context so that they can understand and have a frame of reference. But if you're giving them a ton of tasks to do, that's where mistakes can happen, or they may not know where to emphasize their time to deliver the best result. And I think it's the same with prompts. So when you're giving AI the context to operate in, then yes, providing a lot of detail is important. But when you're asking it, like, give me the best ideas for that, point out these things, it has to be in this way, blah, blah, blah. Actually, no, format is fine. But when it's like the answers, when you're asking it to provide you with answers and you're overloading it, personally, I feel like it's taking away some of the critical thinking fun that I get when I use AI tools and I have that back and forth conversation. So the way I use it is that I provide the context, right? Act in this way, give me the answer in this way. This is my goal. Stay clear of these things. I give it the context. And then I'll ask maybe one question every time so that it refines the answer based on what I need. Instead of asking it for a whole, show me the best things about that, show me all the things that could go wrong, show me this. And I'm using these simple things because they're examples. But I think that the fun that comes with engaging with AI is when you can see the output that it provides, and then you poke at it. You ask it questions, you ask it to expand, or maybe you ask it to go in a different direction. Or maybe you ask it, tell me all the things that can go wrong. If you're having that back and forth, you're able to test the assumption of the AI, test the answers that the AI is providing you, to see if that actually makes sense and is actually relevant to the situation or the problem that you have at hand. We can come up with all kinds of fictitious scenarios, load it with the most complicated prompt, and it's going to generate a very confident answer about something. But what happens next, right? If you don't even have the opportunity to apply it because this was a fictitious scenario altogether, then like you just prove that it can give you a confident answer. The important piece around AI is how do you use it to make your life better, whether that's in personal or business. So how I use AI while remaining critical thinking, by keeping my critical thinking capabilities, is to probe it prompt by prompt, question by question, one at a time. And maybe it is not the most efficient, time-saving way, but I know that the answer that I get at the end, I at least feel that it is that I'm more confident in the answer, that I'm more certain in the answer, and that I can stand behind it because I've tested the assumptions, I've tested multiple angles and had that conversation with the AI tool, and it arrived at the conclusion that made sense based on how I would go about it if I was talking to a human. If I was talking to a human expert on the topic and I was asking them questions, how would I engage in the conversation to be able to take their answer and then use it in my work? That's how I engage with AI. So being thoughtful around how you craft your prompts will allow you to sharpen your critical thinking capabilities, but it'll also allow you to stress test the answers that the AI is giving back to you so that you can use it and be successful at whatever task and use it in the way that you need to use it. Now, I know that some might say that, oh, AI, who cares if AI makes a mistake? Computers or calculators, what if you're in a scenario where a calculator makes a mistake? No. And the reason I think that it's so important to retain our critical thinking capabilities as we delegate thinking to AI, I think it's super important because the impact of a mistake is huge, especially if you're using it in business. So yes, humans make mistakes. That is not going to change. And if a human made a business mistake, oftentimes, or I don't even want to say oftentimes, sometimes you can see the trace of the decision making. There are assumptions and everything, things checked out. Maybe it wasn't the right decision, maybe it wasn't the best one, but you can see you could see the flow of thinking. Of course, that's not everyone. Some people just make decisions for whatever reason. And if it goes wrong, like that's on them. So whatever. But in the case of making a decision and then it being wrong and then going back to seeing, okay, how did this decision happen? If it points to the human just taking the AI's recommendation and not thinking about it, then it becomes easy for that human to become the scapegoat. It becomes harder to trust that human again in a business context if all they're going to do is enter the situation in ChatGPT or any other AI tool and then extract whatever it says and plug it into the plan and then go out and do it and not think about how it works. You're setting yourself up for failure, or you're putting yourself up at risk. You're putting yourself at risk of a huge, huge mistake. So that's why, although AI is great and capable of thinking and processing information a lot quicker than humans can, AI still lives in a very logic-based environment and provides answers in a logical manner. Humans, on the other hand, are emotional beings, and we rationalize things after. We live in a dynamic world where things are changing all the time, and the rate of change is only going to increase over time. Therefore, AI is only capable of giving you an answer based on a specific set of conditions, based on the data that it was trained on, the historical data it was trained on, and within a specific set of conditions. But as the world and the dynamics between people and organizations and systems change, you need to constantly update that AI to make sure that you're getting the best answer it can provide you with, but the human still needs to provide a layer of analysis to make sure that the context that the AI understood makes sense for the answer and then makes sense for you to apply that. So I know it may sound like it's doom and gloom or I'm against AI and all that, but which I'm really not. To me, the value of using AI tools is in stress testing my assumptions, stress testing whatever recommendations or outcomes that I'm looking to generate with AI in order to maximize my chances of success, in order to demonstrate that I thought about it from a variety of angles. And if I'm coming to you with this recommendation or with this idea, it's because I did everything that I could to make sure that it is the best based on my understanding, based on the context. Now, I'm not saying this is the best thing in the world, But I'm saying that given whatever need that I need to do, that I want to do, the output that is expected of me, here is the best case. And I've stress tested this with the AI tool. And I think that other people need to engage in this manner. It's not about getting to the best answer in the least number of prompts. It's about getting to the best answer, no matter how many prompts it takes you, because the impact of the wrong answer should be a deterrent enough for you to want to like make sure that you've stress tested this enough. So listen, people can still get by with long prompts that ask for 10 things within the same prompt, or by just taking the strategy or recommendations that the AI is giving you, going out in the world and doing it. Like, there are people who are going to do that and it's going to work out. But the bar of excellence, or the standard of what good looks like, is going to go up with AI. Good, the level of good will increase, but that at the same time, the number of people who can reach that level of good will also increase. So even if the standard of quality goes up, everyone will meet at that standard. Therefore, the value of that good standard will decrease because it will become the norm. Everyone can do it. The people who want to be great, or the ideas that will end up as great ideas, or execution that will become great execution, you're going for those types of ideas to reach that level. People are going to need to use critical thinking. People are going to need to use AI as a tool, as a thought partner, not as something that they can use to substitute the critical thinking work that needs to happen to take things from idea to execution.